How do you say, I need it?
Ik heb het nodig.
Ik heb het nodig. How do you say, we need it?
We hebben nodig.
It.
We hebben het nodig.
We hebben het nodig. That sounds so Dutch, you know. Okay. How would you say, he needs it today?
Hij heeft het.
Today, needy.
Hij vandaag heeft het.
Okay. He has it today, needy. Need of, necessary, yeah?
Hij heeft vandaag nodig.
Do you say it?
No.
Okay.
Hij heeft het vandaag nodig.
Hij heeft het vandaag nodig. To say, I'm busy, you say, I have it busy. And the word for busy is druk. Druk. D-R-U-K. Druk is pressure. Drukken is to press or to print. So to say she is very busy, you would have to say she has it very busy, which would be
Ze heeft het heel druk.
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 That's it, druk. Ja. Ze heeft het heel druk. How would you say, I can't do it today because I'm busy.
Ik kan het vandaag niet doen, omdat ik het heel druk heb.
Heb. One more time. Because I'm busy.
Omdat ik het heel druk heb.
Okay, you're very busy. Fair enough. Okay. So, ik kan het vandaag niet doen, omdat ik het heel druk heb. How do you say, I want to have it now?
Ik wil het nu hebben.
Ik wil het nu hebben, because I need it.
Omdat ik het nodig heb.
Omdat ik het nodig heb. Ik wil het nu hebben, omdat ik het nodig heb. How do you say, I can tell it to you?
Ik kan het te je zeggen.
Okay. To you here, really, we mean just you. I can tell you.
Ik kan het je zeggen.
Ik kan het je zeggen. Ik kan het je zeggen. And he can tell it you would be?
Hij kan het je zeggen.
Hij kan het je zeggen. How would you say, I can't tell it to you now? So not now is?
Nu niet.
Nu niet. Okay. So, I can't tell it you now.
Ik kan het je nu niet zeggen.
Ik kan het je nu niet zeggen. Because I don't know.
Omdat ik het niet weet.
Good. Ik kan het je nu niet zeggen, omdat ik het niet weet. The verb to cost is kosten. I know. It's hard, isn't it, learning Dutch? Okay. So how would you say it costs?
Het kost.
It cost. And the word for how much is hoeveel. How we know, hoe, H-O-E, and veel, how much or how many, veel, V-E-E-L. It's one word, how much, hoeveel. Hoeveel. So how would you say, how much does it cost?
Hoeveel kost het?
Hoeveel kost het? How would you say, I want to know how much it costs?
Ik wil weten hoeveel het kost.
Ik wil weten hoeveel het kost. And how would you say, I would like to know how much it costs. I want to know gladly.
Ik wil het graag.
That's I want to know it, but you want to know how much it costs. So there's no it required, is there? I would like to know.
Ik wil graag weten hoeveel het kost.
Ik wil graag weten hoeveel het kost. And how would you say, can you tell me, formal, how much it costs?
Kunt u me zeggen hoeveel het kost?
Right. Kunt u me zeggen hoeveel het kost? So, veel is much or a lot. Veel. So it costs a lot, you would say?
Het kost veel.
It costs veel. It doesn't cost much, does it?
Het kost niet veel, hè?
Veel.
Het kost niet veel, hè?
Het kost niet veel, hè? And how would you say, how much does it cost?
Hoeveel het kost?
That would be how much it costs.
Hoeveel kost het?
That's it. Hoeveel kost het? How would you say, that costs too much?
Dat kost
Too much is
te veel.
te veel. Dat kost te veel. How do you say, I want to know it because I need it?
Ik wil het begrijpen.
That's to understand.
Ik wil het weten omdat ik het nodig heb.
Ik wil het weten omdat ik het nodig heb. How would you say, because I want to have it?
Omdat ik het wil hebben.
Omdat ik het wil hebben. How would you say, because she needs it?
Omdat ze het nodig heeft.
Omdat ze het nodig heeft. Now would you say, she doesn't want to buy it because it's too expensive.
Have we learned by?
We're buying in Copenhagen.
Ze wil het niet kopen.
Nice long O.
Kopen.
Kopen.
Kopen. And the second half was?
Because it's too dear.
Omdat het te duur is.
Ze wil het niet kopen omdat het te duur is. How would you say, I'm coming now because I want to see you?
Ik kom nu omdat ik je zien.
Because you want to see, not you to see want.
Omdat ik je wil zien.
Right. Ik kom nu omdat ik je wil zien. How do you say, what time are you coming?
Hoe laat kom je?
Hoe laat kom je? The word for when is wanneer. Wanneer. W-A-N-N-E-R. Wanneer. Wanneer. So how would you say, when are you starting? When are you beginning?
Wanneer begin je?
Not begin, but
Wanneer begin je?
Wanneer begin je? How would you say, when are we starting?
Wanneer beginnen we?
That's right. Wanneer beginnen we? How would you say, when is she coming?
Wanneer komt ze?
Wanneer komt ze? How would you say, when is she phoning?
Wanneer belt ze?
Wanneer belt ze? And how would you say, when is he going to phone?
Wanneer belt hij?
When is he going to phone?
Wanneer gaat hij bellen?
That's it. Wanneer gaat hij bellen? Now, you can say, well, we've been saying, we'll be using wanneer as a question. Yes? With when are you coming? Question mark at the end. Yeah? But, of course, you can also say, I don't know when you are phoning. So the when is then in the middle, and it's not a question, is it? Right? And when this question word, when, is in the middle of a sentence, so in other words, it's not a question, when are you coming, when it starts at the beginning of a sentence, then it also has the famous omdat effect. And the omdat effect is that the verbs
Go to the end
go
of the
to the end.
sentence.
All of them go to the end of the sentence. So how would you say, I don't know when she is starting, when she begins?
Ik weet niet
Not van, but wanneer.
wanneer ze begint.
One more time.
Ik weet niet
Wanneer.
wanneer ze begint.
Not begint, but it's a G.
Begint.
Begint. Ik weet niet wanneer ze begint. How would you say, can you tell me when you are coming tomorrow? Just can you tell me?
Kan je me zeggen wanneer je komt morgen? Nou, wanneer je morgen komt.
Yes, you've thought it through. Kun je me zeggen wanneer je morgen komt? And how would you say formally, can you tell me when you are coming tomorrow?
Kunt u me zeggen wanneer u morgen komt?
Kunt u me zeggen wanneer u morgen komt? Now, these question words like what time, how much, and why, they do exactly the same thing. If you put it in the middle, I want to know how much, I want to know why, then all of those have the omdat effect. They all send the verbs to the end. Okay? So, how would you say, can you tell me how much it costs?
You informal.
Formal, please. Sorry.
Formal. Kunt u me zeggen hoeveel het kost?
Kunt u me zeggen hoeveel het kost? How would you say, at what time can I have it?
Hoe laat kan ik het hebben?
Hoe laat kan ik het hebben? And how would you say, can you tell me when I can have it formally?
Kunt u me zeggen wanneer?
No, it's longer than that. So it's when is wanneer.
Wanneer.
Mm-hmm.
Kunt u me zeggen wanneer ik het hebt kunnen?
When I can have it. I can is ik.
Kan.
Ik kan.
I was trying to put both verbs to the end.
But they weren't the right ones. Because have after can is the whole verb, which is to have is
Hebben.
hebben. So think it through one more time. Can you tell me when I can have it?
Kunt u me zeggen wanneer ik het kan hebben?
That's it. Kunt u me zeggen wanneer ik het kan hebben? How would you say, why do you want that formally?
Waarom wilt u het?
Dat.
Dat.
Waarom wilt u dat? And how would you say, I want to know why you want to have it? Formal.
Ik wil weten waarom u het wilt hebben.
Yes. Ik wil weten waarom u het wilt hebben. And how would you say, I'm sorry, but I want to know why you want to have it?
Het spijt me.
It spites me.
Het spijt me. Maar
I want to know why you want to have it.
ik wil weten waarom u het wilt hebben.
Yes. Het spijt me, maar ik wil weten waarom u het wilt hebben. How would you say, I can't tell you now why I want to have it today.
Kan je niet nu zeggen?
Not now?
Nu niet.
That's it. I can't tell you now why I want to have it today.
Ik kan je nu niet zeggen waarom ik het vandaag wil hebben.
Ik kan je nu niet zeggen waarom ik het vandaag wil hebben. And how would you say, I can't tell you now why I have to have it today.
Ik kan je nu niet zeggen waarom ik het vandaag moet hebben.
Yes. Ik kan je nu niet zeggen waarom ik het vandaag moet hebben. How would you say, I can't tell you when I'm going to do it.
Ik kan je niet zeggen
when I'm going to do it.
wanneer ik het wil. Oh no, that's want. Wanneer ik het ga doen.
That's it. So when I'm going to do it is
Wanneer ik het ga doen.
wanneer ik het ga doen. Okay, well thought through. Ik kan je niet zeggen wanneer ik het ga doen. And how would you say, I'm sorry, but I can't tell you where she is.
Het spijt me, maar ik kan je niet zeggen
Where is waar?
waar te zijn.
Aha. Nicely said. Where they are. But I asked for where she is, which is?
Waar ze bent
What is he is? What is it is?
is.
Is.
Waar ze is.
Yes. Good. Het spijt me, maar ik kan je niet zeggen waar ze is. How would you say, I don't know how much it costs?
Ik weet niet hoeveel het kost.
Ik weet niet hoeveel het kost. Because sometimes it's the same as in English, isn't it? The word order doesn't change. Okay. I don't know when he's coming would be?
Ik weet niet wanneer hij komt.
That's it. Ik weet niet wanneer hij komt. And how would you say, I know how it is.
Ik weet hoe het is.
Ik weet hoe het is. And how would you say, you know how it is, don't you?
Je weet hoe het is, hè?
That's it. Je weet hoe het is, hè? The word for who, like in who's there, is wie. W-I-E, the E sound. Okay. So, to say who is there How would you say that?
Wie is daar?
Wie is daar? How would you say, who is that?
Wie is dat?
Wie is dat? How would you say, who wants to have that?
Wie wil dat hebben?
Wie wil dat hebben? How would you say, I don't know who it is?
Ik weet niet wie het is.
Ik weet niet wie het is. And how would you say, she wants to know who it is?
Ze wil het weten.
That she wants to know it. What she wants to know is who it is.
Ze wil weten wie het is.
Ze wil weten wie het is. And then she wants to know who wants to have it tomorrow, which would be?
Ze wil weten wie het morgen wil hebben.
Wow, that's well worked out, because wie is a question word. So, when it's not a question, when it's in the middle, then it has the omdat effect, which sends, of course, all the verbs to the end. Ze wil weten wie het morgen wil hebben.
Was that supposed to be a trap?
Well, it wasn't, but I'd forgotten to say it.
So that works for all kind of linking words.
All question words, all the interrogatives, in the middle, yeah.
Could we just review the list of those?
The question words, you mean? Well, you've had when,
Wanneer,
wanneer. You've had how much,
hoeveel,
who,
wie,
where,
waar,
why is,
waarom,
and how.
hoe,
Who, that's it. And what time is,
hoe laat,
hoe laat. And another question word is what, which is
wat.
wat. Now we come to a verb form, which is not actually used much in English nowadays, but it is used a lot in Dutch. And that is may I, which is mag ik, M-A-G, mag ik. It's seen as a little formal nowadays, isn't it? But in Dutch, we use it all the time to express to be allowed. May I. Mag ik. Mag ik is part of the fourth special trigger verb. So, may I do it?
Mag ik het doen?
Mag ik het doen? And how would you say, I am not allowed to do it?
Ik mag het niet doen.
Ik mag het niet doen. And how would you say, he's not allowed to do it? Now this is a trigger verb.
So it's hij mag het niet doen.
Well done. Hij mag het niet doen. How would you say, is it allowed? May it? That's what we say.
Mag het?
Mag het? Or is that allowed? Simply,
Mag dat?
mag dat? Is that allowed? Okay. How would you say, may I? Am I allowed to buy it?
Mag ik het kopen?
Mag ik het kopen? How would you say, may I have it, please?
Mag ik het hebben, alsjeblieft?
I didn't say formal or informal, did I? So the informal has the informal je in the middle. if it pleases you, and the formal has the u in the middle. So if you please is
The formal.
yes,
Alstublieft.
alstublieft, and the informal
Alsjeblieft.
alsjeblieft. So may I have it, please is informal.
Mag ik het hebben, alsjeblieft?
And the formal version would be
Mag ik het hebben, alstublieft?
mag ik het hebben alstublieft? En mag ik het hebben alsjeblieft? Now, in English, may I and can I is often changed and confused, and this does actually happen in Dutch occasionally as well. But we really do use mag ik to express to be allowed all the time, and much more so still than in English. But, you know, in English you say, may I have a coffee? Yeah? And coffee, I think we mentioned that before, is simply coffee. Koffie, the coffee. Okay? So you would say, can I have a coffee? But in Dutch, you really would say, mag ik een koffie? So, how would you say, you can have the coffee?
Je mag de koffie hebben.
Je mag de koffie.
De koffie hebben.
Je mag de koffie hebben. Now, to say you formally are allowed something, you would think it has a T, wouldn't you? But with mag, it doesn't. They really are mavericks, these special trigger verbs. So it's I'm allowed, ik mag, je mag, and also u mag. And of course we know that I and he are the same, so it's mag. So it's mag all the way. So you're allowed to have it formally is?
U mag het hebben.
Make it a nice pursed lip.
U mag het hebben.
U mag het hebben. Good. How would you say he is not allowed to have it?
Hij mag het niet hebben.
Hij mag het niet hebben. How would you say, when is he allowed to have it? When can he have it?
Wanneer mag hij het hebben?
Wanneer mag hij het hebben? And how would you say, who's allowed to have that?
Hoe mag dat hebben?
Okay, that happens so often because it's only natural that you're thinking of that. But who is wie? Wie. So how is who and who is wie.
Wie mag het hebben?
Or that.
Wie mag dat hebben?
Wie mag dat hebben? The verb to ask is vragen. Vragen. So it starts with a V. V-R-A-G-E-N. Vragen. Vragen. How would you say, I'm not asking it?
Ik vraag het niet.
Ik vraag het niet. I'm not asking it. How would you say, may I ask something?
Mag ik iets vragen?
Mag ik iets vragen? And how would you say, may I ask you formally something?
Mag ik u iets vragen?
Mag ik u iets vragen? How would you say, why are you asking that?
Waarom vraag je dat?
Waarom vraag je dat? And formally it would be,
Waarom vraagt u dat?
waarom vraagt u dat? How would you say again, I want to know, not I would like, but I want.
Ik wil het weten.
I want to know it. Ik wil het weten. And how would you say, I would like to know?
Ik mag het weten.
That's I'm allowed.
Ah.
I would like is I want to know it gladly.
Ik wil het graag weten.
Ik wil het graag weten. And how would you say, I would like to know why you're asking that?
Ik wil het graag weten.
Uh-huh. But the it is gone because what you'd like to know, it comes afterwards.
Ik wil graag weten waarom
You asking that?
je het vragen.
What's your asking? You ask.
Je vraagt.
That's right, because it's definitely part of the tea gang, unless it's a question.
Waarom je het vraagt.
Or why you're asking that.
Waarom je dat vraagt.
Ik wil graag weten waarom je dat vraagt. And how would you say, I would like to know who's allowed to do it?
Ik wil graag weten. Sorry, the second part.
Who is allowed to do it?
Wie mag het doen?
Okay, think it through. So wie is in the middle. So what happens to all the verbs?
Ja, wie het mag doen.
Right. Ik wil graag weten wie het mag doen. And how would you say, he would like to know when he is allowed to have it? So he would like to know.
Hij wil graag weten.
I didn't hear a T after that will, did I?
No, there's no T. Hij wil graag weten.
When he is allowed to have it.
Wanneer hij het kan hebben.
Uh-huh.
No, it's allowed to, isn't it?
Allowed to, yes.
Wanneer hij het mag hebben.
And like will,
Mag hebben.
mag hebben. Okay. So one more time, he would like to know when he is allowed to have it.
Hij wil graag weten wanneer hij het mag hebben.
Yes. Hij wil graag weten wanneer hij het mag hebben. How would you say, I'm going to ask how much it costs?
Ik ga vragen hoeveel het kost.
Ik ga vragen hoeveel het kost. Now, vragen is to ask. What do you think the question, the word for the question might be?
Vragen?
Just vraag.
Vraag.
Just vraag.
De vraag.
De vraag. Okay, so the question is de vraag. And the question is how much he wants, which would be?
De vraag is hoeveel hij wil.
Good. De vraag is hoeveel hij wil. And the question is what she wants, would be?
De vraag is... I'm sorry, is it what?
What she wants.
Was? No. Wat?
Wat?
De vraag is...
Nee, niet de vragen, de vraag.
De vraag is wat ze wil.
De vraag is wat ze wil. And the question is what he can do, would be?
De vraag is
What he can do.
wat hij kan doen.
The whole thing again. The question is what he can do.
De vraag is wat hij kan doen.
That's it. De vraag is wat hij kan doen. The word for easy is makkelijk. Makkelijk. So it's spelled M-A-K-K-E-L-I-J-K. Makkelijk. It's a lovely word. Makkelijk. We've had another word already ending in luk, haven't we? Possible, which is
mogelijk.
mogelijk. So makkelijk and mogelijk. So the L-I-J-K ending, like you would say by itself, but at the end of words it's pronounced luk, in English can be translated very often as able, like in possible, mogelijk. Yeah? And of course makkelijk is easy or makeable, isn't it? And also, of course, doable. So, easy is
makkelijk.
makkelijk. How would you say that is not easy?
Dat is niet makkelijk.
Dat is niet makkelijk. Now, an easy question would be...
Een makkelijk vraag.
Okay, so now it's in front of question. It's describing the question, an easy question. So, when it's in front of a word...
Een makkelijke vraag.
Good. So, een makkelijke vraag. How would you say it's an easy operation?
Het is een makkelijke operatie.
Het is een makkelijke operatie. And how would you say that's an easy combination?
Dat is een makkelijke combinatie.
Dat is een makkelijke combinatie. And the word for bad was
Slecht.
slecht. That's right. So how would you say that's a bad question?
Dat is een slechte vraag.
Dat is een slechte vraag. And how would you say it's a boring combination, isn't it? The boring was definitely you have to sigh when you're bored.
Het is een saaie combinatie.
Isn't it?
Ah, hè?
Het is een saaie combinatie, hè? The word for new is nieuw. 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 Spelled N-I-E, so that's that E sound, but then added to that is a U. And of course, like in new, it ends in the W. So it's N-I-E-U-W. Nieuw. 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 So how would you say it is new?
Het is nieuw.
Nieuw. Nieuw. How would you say it's not new?
Het is niet nieuw.
Het is niet nieuw. And how would you say it's a new question?
Het is een nieuwe vraag.
Het is een nieuwe vraag. Well thought through. And how would you say that is a new situation?
Dat is een nieuwe situatie.
Nieuwe. Nieuwe.
Nieuwe.
Yeah. In fact, as soon as you put the E on it, or the it's not quite so strong, because of course it would be quite difficult to say nieuwe, so it sounds more like nieuwe without the U.
Nieuwe.
Nieuwe. Nieuwe is fine. Okay. It's just when it's new, then you have to definitely get the nieuw. Nieuw. Dat is nieuw, but that is the nieuwe situatie is fine.
That sounds almost as if that's turned into a V. It almost sounds like nieuwe.
Well, the W is in between a V and a W. Yeah. Okay. So it's in between. It's not quite one or the other. So it depends on what comes in front or behind it. Yeah, you'll hear it differently as well. How would you say he wants a new combination?
Hij wil een nieuwe combinatie.
Hij wil een nieuwe combinatie. Now we come to a little phenomenon which is very Dutch. We are a small country and we just love making things small. So, instead of a question, we say a little question, a little cute little question. It's got a feeling of affection about it as well, making things small. This happens in English a little bit as well, you know, a nice little boy or whatever, that kind of thing. But we do this all the time with lots of things. So, a little question, a question is een vraag, and then we add je. The je always makes things small. So, a little question is een vraagje. Een vraagje. A little question. So, people would say, I've got a question for you, but to make it sort of, you know, less sort of offensive, if you like, or more friendly, you just say, I have a little question for you. You can say that in English as well, can't you? But in Dutch we say this quite a lot. So, I have a little question for you would be?
Ik heb een vraagje voor je.
Voor je.
Voor je.
Ik heb een vraagje voor je. You could say, ik heb een vraag voor je. That's very direct, yeah? But, ik heb een vraagje voor je. It makes it very friendly. Very friendly. So, what was the word for a house again?
Huis.
House. That's right. So, a little house would be?
Een huisje.
Een huisje. That's right. What's a cat?
Kat.
Cat. So what would be a little cat or a kitten?
Een katje.
Een katje. That's right. So how would you say, here is a house, a little house?
Hier is een huisje.
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 Hier is een huisje. And how would you say, I've got a kitten?
Ik heb een katje.
Ik heb een katje. And a little fun day, a fun day, a day, the word for day is?
Dag.
Dag. So a fun day is?
Een dagje.
A fun day is een dagje. A nice little day. And the word for out is uit. Like in huis, uit, uit. So, a fun day out, a day out is?
Een dagje uit.
Een dagje uit. And of course we all want a nice little day, fun day out. So, I would like a day out would be? I would like?
Ik wil graag een dagje uit.
Ik wil graag een dagje uit. I need it.
Ik heb het nodig.
Ik heb het nodig. How would you say, I need a day out?
Ik heb een dagje uit nodig.
Ik heb een dagje uit nodig. How would you say, you need a day out?
Je hebt een dagje uit nodig.
je hebt een dagje uit nodig. How would you say it goes or it's going? Het gaat. And how would you say it's going very well?
Het gaat heel goed.
Het gaat heel goed. And how would you say, how do you do that?
Hoe doe je dat?
Hoe doe je dat? And how do you say, how do you know that?
Hoe weet je dat?
Hoe weet je dat? And how would you say, how does it work?
Hoe werkt het?
Hoe
Werkt het?
Hoe werkt het? And how would you say, how is it going?
Hoe gaat het?
Hoe gaat het? Which also means, how are you? How is it going? How are you doing? And how would you say, how is it going with you?
Hoe gaat het met je?
Hoe gaat het met je? And how would you say, how is it going with you formal?
Hoe gaat het met u?
Not u, but
U.
u. One more time.
Hoe gaat het met u?
Hoe gaat het met u? And how would you say, and how is it going with you all?
Hoe gaat het met jullie?
Hoe gaat het met jullie? The word good, goed, also actually means fine or I'm okay. Although okay, you can say as well, of course, okay is okay in many languages. How would you say everything is good, everything is fine?
Alles is goed.
Alles is goed. How would you say everything okay?
Alles goed?
Alles goed. The word for better, have a guess. It's with the A sound instead.
Beter?
That's it. Beter. Beter. So just one T. B-E-T-E-R. Beter.
Beter.
Beter. Don't forget, just touch that R at the end. Okay? You can roll it if you want, but as long as we can hear it. How would you say, much better, thank you?
Veel beter. Dank je.
Veel beter, dank je. How would you say, it's going much better?
Het gaat veel beter.
Not better, but
Beter.
beter. Het gaat veel beter. How would you say, everything's going much better today?
Alles gaat. Alles gaat. No?
Stick with your first one.
Alles gaat veel beter vandaag.
Alles gaat veel beter vandaag. How would you say, that's a good question?
Dat is een goede vraag.
Dat is een goede vraag. The verb to feel is like feeling full. Full. So it's not feelen, but voelen. Voelen. V-O-E-L-E-N. Voelen. How would you say I feel it?
Ik voel het.
Ik voel het. How would you say I don't feel it?
Ik voel het niet.
Ik voel het niet. How would you say I can't feel it?
Ik kan het niet voelen.
Ik kan het niet voelen. Now in Dutch, you make a difference between saying I can feel something, I can feel it, and I feel well. What you say in Dutch is I feel myself well, or I don't feel myself well. in myself, really implying, yeah? I feel myself well. And this myself bit is exactly the same word as the word for me. And the word for me is
me.
me. So to say I feel good, I feel fine, you say I feel myself good or well, okay, which would be?
Ik voel me goed.
Ik voel me goed. How would you say I feel very well today?
Ik voel me heel goed vandaag.
Ik voel me heel goed vandaag. And how would you say I feel better?
Ik voel me beter.
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 Beter. Don't forget the R at the end.
Beter.
That's good. Beter. Ik voel me beter. How would you say I don't feel good today?
Ik voel me niet goed vandaag.
Ik voel me niet goed vandaag. That's right. I feel myself, in myself, not good. And if you want to say, how do you feel? You have to say, how do you feel in yourself? How do you feel yourself? And again, the word for yourself is the same. Well, the word for yourself in this context is the same as you, which is
je.
yeah. So actually what you're saying is, how do you feel yourself? So what are you doing? You are saying the same word twice, aren't you? How do you feel would be, how feel you yourself?
Hoe voel je je?
That's it. Hoe voel je je? And for jullie, for the plural, you all, you stick with je. How are you all feeling yourselves? So yourselves is the same as yourself. So it's both je. So, how are you all feeling would be?
Hoe voelen je je?
What is you all?
Jullie.
Jullie. You all feel would be?
Jullie voelen.
Jullie voelen. So, how are you feeling in yourselves would be?
Hoe voelen jullie je?
That's it. Hoe voelen jullie je? And how would you say, how are you all feeling today?
Hoe voelen jullie je vandaag?
Hoe voelen jullie je vandaag? So what about himself and herself and themselves? Because as usual, she and they are the same, ze, and herself and themselves are going to be the same anyway. But the good news is, all of these, itself, himself, herself, yourself formally I'm talking about here, because we've just done the informal je stays je. But u is like all the others, which is the word zich. Z-I-C-H. Zich. So to say he feels well, he feels himself well, you say hij voelt, that word zich goed. Zich is spelled Z-I-C-H. And that CH is another way of spelling the g sound. So the g of zich is exactly the same sound as the g in goed or in graag. So how would you say she is feeling well?
Ze voelt zich goed.
So how would you say, you formal are feeling good, aren't you?
U voelt zich goed, hè?
U voelt zich goed, hè? How would you say, you formal, you don't feel well, do you?
U voelt zich, u voelt zich niet goed, hè?
U voelt zich niet goed, hè? How would you say, how are you feeling, you formal?
Hoe voelt u zich?
Hoe voelt u zich? How would you say, I feel beautiful today. I feel myself beautiful.
Ik voel me mooi vandaag.
Not mooie, mooi.
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 So, because the vandaag is the last, you don't add the E?
Aha. You're saying, I feel myself beautiful today. Not saying it's a beautiful day. Okay? So, I feel beautiful today is?
Ik voel me mooi vandaag.
Ik voel me mooi vandaag. To wash. It's not sh, but just s. So, what would be to wash?
Wassen.
Wassen. That's right. How would you say, I wash it?
Ik was het.
Ik was het. How would you say, we're washing it?
We wassen het.
We wassen het. How do you say? Again, it's for us.
Het is voor ons.
Het is voor ons. And to say, we are washing ourselves. We are having a wash. We would say, we are washing us. So, we are having a wash is?
We wassen ons.
We wassen ons. So, the verb to wash, to have a wash, is to wash oneself. And oneself is the same as himself, herself, yourself, which is again
Zich.
zich. So, to wash oneself is zich wassen. That's the one you look up in the dictionary, the whole verb, the to form. So, to say, I'm having a wash, I wash myself, you would say?
Ik was me.
Ik was me. And he's washing himself, he's having a wash.
Hij wast zich.
Hij wast zich. She's washing herself.
Ze wast zich.
Ze wast zich. They're washing themselves.
Jullie
That's you.
or ze?
Ze, because she and they is the same word.
Ze wassen zich.
Ze wassen zich. How would you say, are you washing yourself? Informal. Are you washing you yourself?
Wast je?
Je is great, but it's a question. And it's je, not keen on tea.
Was je?
Was je? How would you say, are you all washing yourselves?
Wassen jullie je?
Wassen jullie je? How would you say, I'm going to wash myself?
Ik ga me wassen.
Well thought out. Ik ga me wassen. And to say we're going to wash ourselves would be?
We gaan ons wassen.
We gaan ons wassen. Very good. To hurry oneself, to rush, is zich haasten. Haasten, to be in haste. Haasten. So to say I'm hurrying up, you're saying I'm hasting myself, I'm rushing myself, which would be?
Ik haast me.
Ik haast me. I'm not hurrying, I'm not rushing, is?
Ik haast me niet.
Ik haast me niet. How would you say he has to hurry?
Hij moet haasten.
But he had to hurry himself.
Hij moet zich haasten.
Hij moet zich haasten. And how would you say, you must hurry, you have to hurry, informal.
Je moet je haasten.
Je moet je haasten. Hurry up. Je moet je haasten. How would you say, we have to hurry?
We moeten ons haasten.
We moeten ons haasten. How would you say, why are you rushing? Why are you hurrying?
Waarom haast je?
Are you rushing in yourself?
Waarom haast je je?
Waarom haast je je? And how would you say, why are you rushing you formally?
Waarom haast u je zich?
That's right. U has zich. Just like itself, himself and herself. Yeah? And themselves. Okay. So, waarom haast u zich? How would you say, that's very bad?
Dat is heel slecht.
Dat is heel slecht. And how do you say, I find it very bad. I think it's very bad.
Ik vind het heel slecht.
Ik vind het heel slecht. How would you say, I don't want to see it because I think it's bad. I don't want to see it
Ik wil het niet zien
because I think it's bad.
omdat ik het slecht
I find
vind zijn.
because I think it's bad. It's only one verb.
Oh, because I find it bad. Okay. Omdat ik het slecht vind.
Omdat ik het slecht vind. What if you were using for instead?
Voor ik.
Not for, want.
Oh,
Want, the other form of omdat.
Want ik vind het slecht.
Want ik vind het slecht.
Only omdat triggers.
That's right. And with a short sentence like that, you would probably be inclined to use want in Dutch. But just because it's easier, because it's short. How do you say, I have a friend?
Ik heb een vriend.
Ik heb een vriend. How do you say, he has a friend?
Hij heeft een vriend.
Hij heeft een vriend. How would you say, he has a good friend?
Hij heeft een goede vriend.
Hoe?
Hij heeft een goede vriend.
Hij heeft een goede vriend. So, a is een, isn't it? And it's spelled double-E-N. And the word for one is also spelled the same, double-E-N, but pronounced een. 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 So to say, I have one friend, you would say?
Ik heb.
Not ik heb, ik.
Ik heb.
And make it a nice P.
Ik heb een vriend.
Ik heb één vriend. And to say, I have not a friend, not any friend, or no friend, you say geen. So één is one and geen is not one. Geen, not any or no. Okay? And it's spelled G-E-E-N, just één with a G in front of it. Geen. So how would you say, I have no friend, I have not got a friend?
Ik heb geen vriend.
Ik heb geen vriend. What is to work again?
Werken.
Werken. And the word work, what do you think that might be? To work is werken and work is?
Werk.
Wow, that's difficult, isn't it? Werk, that's right. How would you say, I have no work, I haven't any work?
Ik heb geen werk.
Ik heb geen werk. How would you say, I don't need any work?
Ik heb geen werk nodig.
Ik heb geen werk nodig. Well done. How would you say, I have no work, but you do? Informal.
Ik heb geen werk, maar hoewel. Jawel.
But if you're going to stress it, you also have to say, use the stressed form of you. Informal, which is not je, but
Jij.
that's it. Okay. Ik heb geen werk. Maar jij wel.
And is there a stressed form of u?
No. U is u.
You just have to stress it.
Yeah, like you would in English. But u is already a strong sound, isn't it? Is a nothing sound. Je, ze, we. But zij, wij, hij, now you can hear it, can't you? Yeah?
So maar u wel, but maar jij wel.
Yes. How would you say, I don't have a cat?
Ik heb geen kat.
Ik heb geen kat. And how would you say, I don't have a kitten?
Ik heb geen katje. Katje.
The sound is like in the A in start, which is kat.
Katje.
Een katje. Yeah. Ik heb geen katje. By the way, you probably have thought of that already, that the J in Dutch is often a Y in English. Yeah, like in yes, ja, and you, of course, je.